All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that we are all set for the last panel discussion of this evening, and then we would be all set for awards. How many of you are excited? Excited for awards? Yeah, excited कि ये last panel discussion है. Excited for awards? And ready for the last panel discussion? All right, you guys are really good, trust me. With that, ladies and gentlemen, moving towards the last panel discussion, and the topic is elevating engagement, exploring innovative mobile advertising solutions and their advantages over traditional channels. तो चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं by inviting the very first panelist, ladies and gentlemen, here on the stage, Mr. Abhishek Ranjan, Digital Head DS Spice Co from DS Group. Please put your hands together for the gentleman, everyone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Mr. Abhishek Ranjan, Digital Head DS Spice Co from DS Group, to please join us here on the stage. आप सभी की जोरदार तालियों के बीच में. Well, next I would like to do the honor to invite Mr. Sleen Kaur Kohli, Digital Lead Home and Personal Care from Dabur. Well, अब मैं बुलाना चाहूँगी Mr. Shashi Shekhar Mukherjee, Head of Digital Marketing from Reckitt. Next, I would like to do the honor to invite Mr. Vishal Singh, Country Head from Zappats. And last but not the least, the moderator of the session, Mr. Shubha Sen Gupta, Marketing Consultant, Government Brand Agencies. With that, would like to request you, Mr. Sen Gupta, to please do the honor by commencing the session.
Can you hear me at the back? You can? All right, great. So thank you very much. And this is Abhishek, Divakar, Jasleen, Shashi, Vishal. Some I know from a long time back, and someone you have just met. We were just having a very interesting conversation upstairs. I'll just take it forward, actually, you know. So my name is Shubha Sengupta. Just a quick intro. I'm an analog guy in a digital world, right? So I started off in traditional advertising in the 90s, mid-90s at the usual suspects, Ogilvy, Leo Burnett, etc. Then I moved to digital around 2007, and I've been there since. Now, last 5 years or so, I'm with the government. I used to lead content for something called MyGov. It's the government's citizen engagement program. And for the last 6 months or 8 months, I am the communications and marketing head at something called Mission Karma Yogi. It's the Prime Minister's capacity building program for the entire government. That's what 40 million people, right? So that's what I do. But, I'm privileged to, in my long and, slightly uneven full career, to meet a lot of very interesting people. Okay, some of you are in the audience, some of you are here with me. And I love, kind of chatting with them, getting little things. And though my background is originally content, I've worked across categories. I've worked in, government, of course, and, for-profits, non-profits, etc., digital, television, radio, all categories. In fact, I'm writing a book which should be out hopefully next year, if I can finish, okay. So it'll be about half about cycling, because that's my first love. All right, okay. Yes, of course. Okay. So anyway, so that's me, and great pleasure to introduce you to you. And I worked on some of the brands my co-panelists are currently working on. Jasleen, for example, is from Dabur, and I was just telling her a little while ago about what is the brand? Rose Gulavari, right? So I mean, it's a brand I couldn't work very well on because I didn't understand the consumer. I was telling you. But now I get it, and Dabur understands the consumer so well, right? Okay, it's no longer SCCB, small town, which it was 20 years back when I was working on it. Now it's, mobile, as our thing is, right? And Shashi is my ex-colleague from Redef, right? It's been a while, right? Shashi still looks very young. He's lost a little bit of hair, but He's still as young at heart, at least, and he's doing very well. He was with Nestle at some point, not Nestle. GSK, right. GSK Group M. Currently, you're with, sorry? Reckitt's, yeah. Where you have these iconic brands. We're having a long conversation about Durex and, a couple of things I can't mention here, but, interesting insights, right? And can you get back the names, please? Introduce everyone. Who is it? I mean, piche kaun? Can you get back the, yeah. Hello. Get it back, the names. Yeah, thank you. Let me at least introduce everyone. I mean, I know their names, but designations and so on, it always helps, right? And there's Abhishek. You're also from advertising. You spent 4 years at DDB Mudra, I think. Okay. And you're with the Spice Group, DS Spice Group. We'll quiz you on retail and mobile in a little while, right? And we couldn't meet, but Pernod Ricard is a brand that I worked on at Ogilvy again many years back, and it's a brand I greatly respect. It's an organization I respect, and we'll be quizzing you about, I think we were discussing in the WhatsApp group AI in, reaching out to newer, younger audiences, something like that, right? Okay, we'll do that. And you blew me away with, he was describing this, I think, TV ad where there's some recognition technology which can make out whether a person is wearing Nike shoes, right? So maybe you're promoting Adidas or some other shoe, you're showing that ad. So that kind of sophistication in marketing was unheard of, when I was doing my digital stuff 10, 15 years back. So that's the stellar audience, and I'm sure you'll have a great 45 minutes or so. I don't know how much time we have, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy every bit of it. Okay, so who do we start with? Maybe, I think we have a couple of questions. I'll stand and sit also, okay, because I'm a very excitable creature. Okay, so a couple of questions were there in the initial list, which I think everyone knows, is mobile replacing traditional? This is a very old question. I mean, it's a 15-year-old question. There's nothing new. Yes, it is, and TV is still strong, print is still strong, brand trust, a lot of people say is better for television, etc. Partly true, partly incorrect. So we won't walk up that path too much. But what I want to touch on, and these guys are, the best in the industry, is one is technology, certainly, because we're talking about mobile, right? And do bring in AI and machine learning and other latest technologies, the one that you mentioned, sir, okay, about how it helps you not just sell your product, but how you can apply it to every slice in the marketing funnel, or flywheel, as some call it, right? So one is technology. Second is a lot of you represent FMCG brands, as we call it. Okay, I think now it's retail and non-retail, but anyway. So how do you build communities in the age of mobile, in the age of Reels, Instagram, whatever you call it, right? These two. And third is you do a lot of performance. Okay, so performance, the way I understood it 10 years back, 15 years back, and now is very different. Though it's still, bechna hai at the end of the day, but the way you do it is changed. It's chalk and cheese, almost, in some areas. So I'd like to cover those areas, and we can start off with, one by one. Sashi, do you want to start off on Durex? Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, take us through and we've got about half an hour, 40 minutes, so about 5 minutes each, and we'll kind of have some cross conversations also. We can also add to something,
Sure.
Let's keep it as informal as possible.
So I think Durex is quite the loved
And
brand.
sorry, one last thing. Anybody wants to jump in and ask a question, preferably at the end of when they, just welcome to ask. Yeah, Sashi.
I think, most of you would be sort of hopefully following, the brand on either of the social platforms, or would have seen some PR, some etc. Right now, I think the reason of we being kind of on social is you need to sort of think. For example, there is a content creator, content creation as a brand and content creation as a content creator, right? Now, for example, if you need to kind of really create a community, there are a couple of things that we need to sort of keep in mind, right? I mean, of course, being authentic, being consistent, and also sort of anything that you do must squarely sit down and link with the category cues. Now, if these three things you sort of do consistently, you will actually see that be it your engagement, be it your resonance, and your reach of your your strategy will sort of pay you back. Now, on Instagram today, we do have, one is our brand voice that you would sort of see on Durex as a platform. We've also sort of created, because today Gen Zs, they talk in memes, right? I mean, they don't sort of look into a 20-second or a 10-second or a 5-seconder. So we also sort of run, for example, an unofficial kind of a fan account page, which is Thank You Durex. I'm not sure how much of you guys are aware of, but you must sort of look into it. The kind of engagement, the kind of conversations, they are so authentic, and we do sort of present ourselves during fluid moments and fixed moments, right? I mean, there are advertising on digital is mostly pushed, but we do get DMs when there's an event. So for example, the Pantone color of the year got announced day before yesterday, right? It's peach fuzz. Now, we took a day to sort of come back with it, because we were thinking of how to sort of go back. But today when we posted, we got a ton of DMs that a lot of people were actually waiting for Durex's take on Pantone. So I'm saying that is the kind of consistency, that is the kind of sort of pull that you can maintain for your brands only if you're consistent and you are sort of ensuring that everything lands back to your category. There are many brands you would see while doing RTA, real-time marketing, they would be just picking up any random events which doesn't talk back to the category. Now, I'm not sure how much of them work, but I have my considerable doubts there. So be consistent and be authentic is what I'd say to build communities.
Thanks, Sashi. Sashi, by the way, is one of the top 40 under 40 marketers. I think something like that I was reading. Congratulations, right? Okay. I'm assuming you're still under 40. Right, okay, all right, okay. Just joking. I know him so well, I'm permitted to pull his leg once in a while. So, Diwakar, Pernod, I mean, lots of AI personalization. In fact, earlier today, the Prime Minister inaugurated a global AI summit at in New Delhi, and he was talking about how AI is going to change, he didn't use the word marketing, but he's going to change the way, we buy, we think, we do business, etc. So what is your take on, I mean, your experience in how Pernod uses AI?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a broad question.
Yeah. So, just keeping my answer to how tech helps us elevate engagement in a mobile context. So first of all, we come from, Pernod India is an alcobev company, alcoholic beverages. We are one of the leading alcobev manufacturers in the country. We have many brands like Royal Stag, Imperial Blue, Hunt Pipers, Ballantines, Shivers, Blenders Pride, etc. But the core issue there is we are not allowed to advertise and we can only do through what we call extension or surrogate marketing. So in order to really push the lever or in terms of equity for any particular brand, you need to provide a very high level of engagement and emotional connect. Just by constantly relying on video advertising or certain other experiences, if you can do that, it's great. Physical experiences, activations, but there is a limit to how many people you can reach through physical activations and physical experiences. What has technology, and especially, and not just AI, there are other as well, metaverse, predictive, and a lot of those technologies was touched base with the previous panel, have allowed us to have that higher level of engagement, provide an immersive experience with a little bit sense of personalization that especially the younger audiences really crave these days. So I'll give a few examples of what we have been able to do in our brand Imperial Blue, which is very famous for its humorous take on things, men will be men, etc. We did use predictive voice technology to give a very humorous festive greeting, which you can generate, your and go and generate. We got lakhs of entries on that tremendous UGC, and but that's and the previous panel also touched base on is tech is nice, but tech should be done with an objective. Objective for us remains always provide a high level of engagement and emotional connect, and also relevant to the brand world that a particular brand has. So while I gave the example of Imperial Blue, another of our brand, Blenders Pride, created metaverse, and it was not just Blenders Pride does a fashion tour. So they took the fashion tour is a very exclusive event. It happens in a couple of cities. It can be attended by only a couple thousand people. Some of the top fashion designers go there. So they thought about how they can broad base the experience. So they created the metaverse where people can actually wear, fashion designers like Gaurav Gupta created digital dresses which people can wear and basically showcase high fashion, bring high fashion to the masses. That was the thought. And for Roy Stag, recently we did a very big campaign, named Large Hamara Hai. That campaign, and Roystag is one of the partners associate partners to International Cricket Council, ICC. So we always, our endeavor is to provide, utilize the passion pillar of cricket to provide a more immersive experience to cricket fans across the country, billions of cricket fans across the country. This year what we did was using the power of AI, you can be part of a film with Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah, and also the World Cup trophy. So through the power of AI, your face gets slapped there. There are a couple of fans. You can be part of the whole film. So that was beautiful technology, and Roy Stag's motto is living at large. So we provided a full experience there that lucky few can get to actually witness India play in the World Cup at various venues. But those of you who still couldn't get a ticket, they can still get a very big live at large experiences by featuring with these celebrated cricketers in the World Cup trophy using the power of technology or AI. So that was the thought. That's my sense, elevating engagement as the topic says it, but in the context of the brand. Yeah.
Thanks. Jasleen, very quickly about Be the Gulabi Girl. Okay, if you can tell us. I'm especially curious about how you take very, brands for traditional audiences, quote unquote traditional audiences. At least that's what it was when I worked on Daawat 20 years back. Okay. They were known as SECB, they were known as smaller towns, smaller cities, etc. And then boom, suddenly there's a smartphone which is, faster than the first rockets that went to the moon. So how do these two, how do you bridge these two? How do you connect these two for, call it awareness, call it sales, call it retail presence or whatever? Please.
Sure. So like we were discussing this earlier. So one is that, Gulabari Rosewater as portfolio, wherein UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, these are still the geos which are contributing to about 40% of business. And I
40% of what business? The Gulabari business?
Yes, the contribution to the brand. So keeping those in mind, there are platforms which are being chosen, like, Josh is something which we had chosen. And while, we are talking about SEC, BC sort of audience, as a brand, we have also forayed into things like face mist or toners or, ingredients which are more like niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, which new age audience connects with. So on one hand, we have the pure Gulabari kind of, portfolio, which still is about, mixing it with a face pack or using it along with some face scrub. But at the same time, we never should be forgetting the TG, which is, we're starting early. We want those people to start using Gulabari very soon, which is as teenagers. And hence, when we utilize the power of short video platform like Josh, we ensure that the tonality... Josh.
Right.
It's a short video platform. And we ensured that the tonality that we have for the jingle that we created was absolutely keeping Gen Zs in mind. So I'm sure all of us know what this sign is, and we ensured that, to have such lingos, actions included in the tonality or in the jingle itself. Versus when we move to rest part of the portfolio, it is very premium in nature. And if we don't foray into that, then I think, like we discussed, it will be like, okay, maybe I used it 10 years back, and now, or, my mom used it 10 years back, and this brand is not for me. So we don't want to just stay there, and hence, as, Dabur, we are foraying into new age formats. And that's the key, how we are staying relevant.
Yeah. I'll slip in a quick question before we move to Vishal, which is, the creator economy. You've heard of it, millions and millions of dollars that are young teenagers who are making lakhs and lakhs every month. And so, how is Dabur riding this creative economy? Whether you call it Josh, whether you call it Instagram, whatever. What are you doing there?
There are two very interesting cases. So taking on from the Durex example, one brand which I definitely want to touch upon is Hajmola.
Hajmola.
Yes. So that's the Chatkara taste of India. And that's one brand where we don't have to try hard at all. Instead of asking creators or instead of asking audiences to create content, they're the ones, who are picking up all these fluid moments and sending all the memes, reels, and content to us. Versus, there are, certain brands like Dabur Amla, which is still like, wherein I was telling you that every hair care action, whether it is, making a plait or tying your hair in a bun, is associated with a personality type. So there we are moving more into regional content creators who still are, relevant for those geos, but at the same time, are aspirational within those geos. So that's how, we are utilizing. One is very organic way, and second, handpicking influencers who are very geo-specific or known in those certain pockets.
Okay, thank you. Vishal, you founded Zapads when, about 10 years back?
It's a 18-year-old.
Sorry?
It's a 18-plus-year-old.
18 plus, okay. So you've seen the entire digital cycle. Tell us a little bit about the magic which you were describing a little earlier. All these new softwares, reading, visuals. When I kind of got out of marketing, it's still in digital, it was, what is the best hashtags, Google, use some hashtag tool or something. But I see it's gone far beyond that from what I gathered a little while ago. Tell us a little bit about it.
So it has, but if I take a step back from all this noise around the latest technology in terms of, say, AI or ML or Meta, and look at digital, its inherent beauty is its ability to target better, its ability to engage better, and its ability to personalize better. And that is where, whether you bring in AI or bring in any other technology, it boils down to these three facts, basically. I'll give you an example. We were working on a sports brand. It's a sports drink brand. And everybody was worried. The needle was just not moving. They were doing television, they were doing digital, they were doing present across all sports channels everywhere. But the needle wasn't moving. And that is where we took it on digital, but we took it on a better application on what we were doing. It was a very basic thing. Someone needed to realize that people who are watching sports are not necessarily playing it. So we simply went to a live panel where we recruited people who play some active sport for at least 2 hours in a week. We studied their digital behavior. We did lookalike modeling for them. And then we implemented that campaign as per the digital behavior of those users. And the needle moved. But coming back to the tech front of that, we have a tech called Pulse. which does some brilliant
Is it
things.
in-house, as in you've built it, or?
Yeah, it's an in-house tech which works on YouTube as a platform pretty well. So if I tell you that on YouTube I can give you only those recipes where people are talking about making mocktails where whiskey is an ingredient. So your whiskey brand could be placed in those videos, or your vodka brands could be placed on other videos where you're talking about some mocktails which where vodka is the main ingredient. Or for gulabri, if I tell you that I can only get onto placing your videos in that content where you're talking about the ritual of getting ready, ritual of the steps to follow, and it could be different. It could be different for a metro consumer versus a tier 2, tier 3 consumer. So that's the beauty that the tech gives you. Or for example, catch. I can place your video in only those recipes where you're talking about adding a particular masala. So like we were discussing biryani masala. So wherever it's saying that place ab 2 chammach biryani masala daliye, the video could be placed over there. So basically you are making your marketing budgets work harder and delivering exactly through the objective that you have. It's done by tech now. It was done earlier manually. Few brands have tested it manually. Abhishek is one of them. But yeah, when it needs to be done at a larger scale, that is where the tech works. And there are wonderful techs which would keep on coming up. Everyone is talking about AI now. But yeah, the objective, what is the objective that you have? I've known brands who've done recruitment interviews on Metaverse. What was the objective? So I think we need to stick to the beauty of the medium and then utilize tech to get the objective that we've set out for.
So Vishal is a brilliant guy because he just made 3 business pitches. Okay. And if any of these convert, I want at least 5.
I wanted to say something for Durex also, but I didn't know what content to pitch to him.
Okay. Just pulling your leg, yeah. So let's move to Abhishek. Abhishek, I mean, before we get into DS Group, Catch, your journey, etc., you have a very deep advertising background. You used to head DDB Mudra and Tele and all that. So tell me, the brand side which you kind of captain so well, and the digital marketing side, which is more, let's say, sales oriented. What was the shift like? What was the jump like?
So you want to know from the overall brand to the agency comparison you want to know about in a nutshell?
Well, agency to brand actually.
Okay. So, hi. If I'll speak about my experiences, I started with brand first. When I was working with brand after college, doing MBA, when I was with brand, I was doing what exactly I was knowing, right? Or I was learning from my peers or my environment, right? Something from agency as well, correct? We need to be very, very evident that, yeah, we learn a lot from our agencies, correct? So that was the one side of it. But after working couple of years, 2, 3 years, 4 years with the brand side, I realized that now I need to do my hands dirty, and definitely I need to see that how we can upgrade ourselves if I want to go and start working at agency side. So honestly speaking, when I joined DDB, I worked 5 years there, but it was not that easy. Honestly, it was not that easy. When I started, for first month, it felt like, oh, I have to leave, I can't survive, right? Clients are asking like this, your teams are not there to take you as a support. Because what happened, I was coming in between a person, an entire team was reporting to me at that time. But I was not having any
if I may just interrupt,
if I may just
interrupt. Tell us the structural differences, the analytical differences, working for a brand and working for working for the agency which worked on brands and being inside an agency. So what were the structural differences?
I'm coming to that only. Yeah. So at agency, people like your copy team, your biddable team, your planning team, your strategy team, all the teams are there with you to work, right? You can say that working together.
One
Whether-
reason, sorry,
Yeah.
one reason I'm asking you is, I mean, the discussion we were having a little while ago,
Absolutely.
we were looking at creative, the agency not getting what the brand said and the brand not getting what the creative, I mean, the agency said.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those kind of skill sets where they are working for you on any of the brand or any of the work which you are working at agency side, right? But when you are there at a brand side, entire portfolio changes, right? Suddenly you start working with business head, where a business head is there responsible for the entire ROI, where you have teams where you have ATL, BTL bifurcation, you have GD teams, MT, so all those teams, but as a team you have agency to work with. You don't have your internal team. Some people will be there, maybe one or two people will support you, but not a full-fledged team. For example, you get a brief in the night from your promoters or from your management that we need to launch this. Let's say it's a launch which got pre-planned, right? It was planned for 2 months later, but we know that in FMCG category, because of the topicality, launches can go early as well, right? So then, of course, you need to make friends at your agency and start working with them. So this is how the difference is. But when you are getting your brief at an agency, and if your team and everyone is working together, then you are a team. It doesn't mean it's a day in, day out, or Sunday, Saturday. If you are there with your team, you can work anything that time, right? But if at brand side, definitely you need to be very, very dependent on the particular thing.
Sure, sure. Thanks. I'll come back to you. I want to ask a question to the audience, which is, how many of you use ChatGPT? If you can just raise your hand. I mean, professionally at work. So that's about almost 50%, maybe a little more. What about you guys? Okay, everyone. You don't. But you do AI. Your brand does a lot of AI. Okay. So yeah, I use a lot of ChatGPT to do a little structured thinking, okay, based on market research and so on. Sometimes I have some columns from newspapers, wo bhi aadha ChatGPT mein, okay, then I change it, I cheat a little bit, okay. But these days one is so busy, you have to do that. So here my question is, in an age of, personalization, where you have so much rich data, a lot of you, I'm sure, sit in front of 5-6 data dashboards half the day, right? Which really targets your audience, behaviors, psychographics, etc. Okay. What is the benefit that you get from on mobile as compared to a classical brand building medium like, say, television, like Pernod Ricard, which Pernod Ricard did, still does, right? Is there any difference? Do you get an advantage, or is it still the status quo? Go ahead.
So a lot of difference, like you rightly said about the personalization from digital, right? A very simple use case which I was talking to Jasleen as well. We have a product, I'm sure everyone is using sprinklers, right? Salt, pepper, correct? During this monsoon, this rain season, what we tried, we leveraged monsoon rain as a signal for the campaign this time. And we mapped it with sales as well via Blinkit and the other e-commerce. So what we did, during rain, we all get appetized by seeing that chaat pakoda, samosa chai, and all those kind of stuff, right? So what we did, we used Weather Ads API by AccuWeather, that is one. And this is from the technology per se. That technology is ensuring that you can map it with Meta or DV wherever you want to, right? And whenever it is raining, whether it is light rain or heavy or moderate, those are the three signals. Of course, you can map it with other weather, like AQ and all. You can do it, right? So these three signals we just chosen. We mapped it with Meta, Instagram, and we took interest as cooking, because we are very much related to people doing cooking, and of course bit of food as an interest, correct? What happened, the other side, we used Mid-Journey as a platform, again chat GPT kind of conversational AI, where we ran prompt, and all these creatives we didn't did via any of the agency or any people. We took this creative out from the mid journey, and it was so appetizing, right? We just placed our product, we did some tweaking on the creatives, and then we changed those creative as per region, right? For example, I'm running this creative in Chandigarh, or my other market is Patna, or my Kolkata is a market. So all those regionalization we did on the creative, and we linked to respective market e-commerce places. When we actually checked that how exactly it performed in 15 days or 20 days as a campaign, what we found that, of course, first we actually were accurate that campaigns were on the heap, like it was going up and down, again not live for a few days. That indicates that, yeah, whether has performed, right? That is one. Second, from an overall performance per se, reach cost went down by 40%, engagement went up by almost 25%, and we have more than 100% redirection growth, right? Means we got more than 100% growth in terms of redirection on Blinkit, and we've actually mapped sales from our Blinkit, and we found that we have a growth of certain percentage on the numbers which we catered during that month. So this is how the personalization we can go from a digital per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vishal, what are the hottest platforms for digital marketing? I mean, I heard the word Blinkit 3 times. Actually, you know, Blinkit used to be on my 4th or 5th screen around COVID. Now it's on the first screen. Because, you know, our maid, you know, she calls me, she WhatsApps me 3-4 times a day. Maybe it's her, I don't know. Anyway, so, and she types in Bengali, but in English font, Dada, you know, catch, whatever, something. And I say, okay. And I go to Blinkit and, you know, bam, it's done, right? So, what are the hot new platforms in your, and also if you can do a little bit of future gazing.
Okay. COVID has done certain things to us. It's kind of changed our behavior. We were very used to going out, having a look and feel of the product and then buying it. What is happening now is that a lot of discovery is happening on digital. So people are discovering products on whether it's Insta or whether it's on YouTube, and then the buying is happening on e-com. If you ask me 3 platforms, currently it's largely Insta, YouTube, and all your e-com platforms. But it would also depend on from category to category. For example, we were hearing about Maruti. You would not have a Blinkit or a Amazon over there, but yeah, Maruti would have its own backbone where they're driving a lot of consideration and intent to purchase. So from category to category, it will differ. I would just like to add to what Abhishek was saying, how digital is adding value over other mediums. I won't say that TV is superior or digital is superior, but again, it's on objective. I was discussing with a client yesterday where the client wants to activate a campaign in Delhi whenever there is snowfall in Srinagar. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. So that's the beauty of.
Please tell us how.
So just like he's taking trigger of rain from some AQI, it's similar to that. I know there are apps which can tell me when it's raining, when it's snowing or raining in Himachal or Kashmir, and I can activate the campaign. So it's linked automatically. Everything is done by tech. There is no human intervention. And it's very easy to do. So the main USP in these kind of campaigns is speed to market. The speed to market that digital offer can never be done on television or even on print. Maximum on print, what we've been seeing, when there is an India-Pakistan cricket match, there are 2 creatives ready. If India wins, ye chhap do. If India loses, ye chhap do. That doesn't happen on digital. You don't need to do that. Virat Kohli is batting, he's batting on 40. I can activate a campaign the moment he crossed 40, saying that Virat is about to score a half century. Have you made your team? Is he there in your team? So a lot of gaming clients get active over there. Like he was saying, it starts raining, all my cola ads would go down and the coffee ads would go up. So that's the beauty of digital. It's like this. You want to start something, stop something, it happens.
So I want to ask Jasleen, I'll come back to you, sorry. I want to ask Jasleen, because your brand is also a storytelling brand.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so how do you tell stories on mobile?
A couple of examples of that. One is that, let's say if I talk about Dabur Amla as a brand, wherein we ensure that we are, we are talking about Champi as a ritual, but at the same time, we are encapsulating the key trends or the new age trends within hair care. Like hair slugging is a new trend which has actually been there.
Hair what?
Hair slugging.
Slugging.
Yeah, so it has been there for ages.
Okay.
You must have seen that a lot of people after hair oiling would, either wrap a towel or socks so that, it locks in the moisture and gives more nourishment to hair. And that as, I would say topic, or that as the talking subject is what we have picked up, because everybody is talking about Champi. How do you ensure that, you make it...
Champi, I have heard.
So Champi everybody talks about, every hair oil talks about. How do you ensure that you make it more... So when you slug it, you ensure that you style it better. So, these are some ways we are picking up to ensure that, we do storytelling in a much more engaging
So
way.
this beautiful little insight, how do you take it to, 10 lakh women? I mean, do you call influencers, ask them to do their version of this?
Yes, correct. So one is Instagram, of course, through Instagram Reels. But at the same time, not forgetting the other mass, reach mediums within digital, like ShareChat or Merge, because that also gives me a regional control. So using those as platforms. The key thing there also I'm talking about is that Dabur Amla gives you 3 key benefits, which is long, strong, and thick hair. And but at the same time, not just sticking or not just staying to that level, making it slightly more engaging. When you use terms like hair slugging, then people would be like, okay, what is this new thing? But in actual, this is just a new terminology. It has been there for ages.
But you create a ritual.
Yes.
Yeah, ritual is very important in your
It's
categories.
very important, yeah.
Right.
So in fact, a lot of categories, whether we talk about hair care or we talk about skin care, we were talking about the COVID era, how it changed a lot of things for us. So what we saw, and it started by just looking at some of the influencers that I follow, that a lot of influencers are, and I'm talking about the first wave, where the conversation was still about what to cook for lunch, what to cook for dinner, and who's going to do the dishes. People, these influencers started using natural or key kitchen ingredients in skincare. So these kitchen ingredients were becoming part of skincare conversations. And we, of course, reached out to Google to check whether there is a scale. Is it really becoming that big that we converted into a campaign? So we saw there was 200% jump in those conversations. And hence we launched a campaign called Face Pack Fridays. Why Face Pack Fridays? One, Dabur Gulabari is in the space of adjunct usage, mixing it with any ingredient that you have, the humble, your besan, haldi, chandan that we have in the kitchen. Mix it, add gulabari to it, and then there you have your favorite face pack. But there we knew that, though it's COVID and everybody's home, people were still doing elaborate skincare over the weekend. That's all the time that you have. So we would launch one skincare face pack targeting one skin concern every Friday, promote it till Sunday, and next Friday or Thursday, launch another face pack recipe. So that was something which was a major win for us. And as soon as e-com started delivering, we saw like a huge spike in business. And that as a concept was taken forward on TV. So as soon as the lockdown was lifted, brand manager decided that, okay, there is some merit in exploring this as a space, and they took it to TV so that, there's more reach that they can
I think it is more in being consistent in creating that ritual. We all break Kit Kat in a certain way and then eat it. It didn't happen automatically. It was built that way. Or we all consume Oreo in a certain way. We take it apart.
Ritual, right.
So that's I think a new term we've learned today.
You wanted to
other
say
than
something before I move to Abhishek.
I just want to add on the Blinkit part. Like you said that now it's number one on your mobile and it is there. Just a use case.
How many of you use Blinkit? If you can raise your hand. My
Not
God.
pertaining to Blinkit
Okay.
only, any other app as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I may push my friend Shashi's brand, have you ever bought a condom on Blinkit? I'm sure nobody will raise their hands. Such a true. Okay.
It's actually
Shashi.
the fastest growing channel, and that too, post 8 p.m.
Post 8 p.m. Okay. Okay.
So
10.
in fact, ice cubes
Okay.
and cigarettes are most selling item there as well. So
Okay.
ice cubes, of course, 8 in the night, and cigarettes morning and night.
Interestingly,
late
people
hours.
who buy Durex also sort of, two products, one is chips and one is Red Bull, goes with it. So.
You know, the way AI is going, I mean, in a lighter note, in a year or two, you will be able to predict when someone is in the mood to buy a condom, because you will be talking to him and
Absolutely.
he'll be sending these visual images. वो देख के थोड़ा, whatever. Anyway, so, I want to ask Diwakar, because Justine was mentioning influencers. So do you guys use influencers, micro-influencers, nano-influencers?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I worked on your brand, we were looking at the big Bollywood stars, right? And this is 15 years back. What is it now on mobile?
And you started the conversation by charting a comparison between traditional and digital channels, and the choice for digital, while very compelling reasons have already been provided, but very hardcore choice of digital is media sufficiency. Whether print and radio are still relevant. What impact does outdoor actually deliver? All of these metrics, we have data for them now. There's huge amount of tech also that provides us for these traditional platforms. TV, we at Panorica, we do a lot of TV. We latch on to certain big ticket properties like cricket because of the massy nature of our brands and the reach that only TV can provide in certain pockets, etc. But just from a hardcore number perspective, that so and so excess million consumers, hypothetical consumers we have, only say 30% or 40% are there on print. They say 70-80% are on TV, but 90 to 95% of these consumers are there on digital. That's the hardcore math behind and the logic behind using digital. And with regards to influences also, it's quite simple logic. We can keep using the big ticket stars or heroes and celebrities. They have and the previous panel talked a lot about 3-second span of users. You're automatically inclined to watch a visual or a video more if there's a big star on the face of it, but that does not guarantee that you will receive the message, receive the brand, or understand the communication. You will see it, maybe you will see it for 7-10 seconds, maybe full thing, but that does not. But what influencers have provided and continue to provide is listening. When influencers say the same thing, their audience, to a large extent, listen to it, listen to what they are saying and react to it, and might also do. Certain percentage might also take the call to action that the influencer is advocating. So this realism and
if I may just jump in, do you use influencers? Does Pernod Ricard use influencers?
Yeah, definitely to a large extent, and of course, we can't advertise alcohol. It's also done in a extension base, whether leveraging the passion points of our consumers, but that uses definitely to what my colleague from Dabur already mentioned, that regionalization, certain pockets do not have that amount of Facebook or Instagram penetration that you would ideally get if you do not associate with a regional personality. And then second, relevance and connect that comes because of the use of influencers. Yeah, so.
Some of these influencers, Sashi, are pretty big, as you probably know, and I'm sure you've also worked with some of them. Sometimes in the government you think everyone owes you a favor, so I call up influencers and, they say, desh ke liye karo kuch, and most people would come. But, about 2 weeks back, I was trying to invite someone, I won't tell you his name, for a small talk, because I'm in the learning business in a sense, training and all that. See, physically he'll come and address some very senior IS people and all that. She said 1 crore, right? Okay, I don't care whether you need me for 5 minutes or 5 hours, 1 crore. I don't care if you're the government or private sector, whatever. So the point I'm making is, some of these influencers are platforms, right? Beer Biceps and Bhuvan Bam, and there's this mobile guy, I can't remember, 25 or 30 million TechCrunch, 30 million or 25 million followers, right? And these are all made on mobile influencers, and they make lakhs and lakhs, millions of dollars actually, right? So say something about
So I think
that. Not necessarily connected with your brand, but what do you think? Yeah.
I think very quickly.
Hori, yeah.
So I think very quickly, you rightly said that, influencer is actually a new medium now. At least how we at Reckitt kind of, look at it is that over the last 5 years that, we have been able to, sorry. Yeah, we are up. Anyway, so I think over the past 5 years, what we've been able to do is that we've created a internal benchmarking of, say, a cost per reach, a cost per like, a cost per view, etc., right? So, and we look at it from a 3 perspective. We look at reach, relevance, and resonance. So it need not only be a reach thing, but also relevance and this thing, and that is how, even at the way we sort of, crack these deals with these influencers are from that media metric. So that kind of, gives you a benchmarking. It helps you sort of, have a sustained kind of a presence, because it's not that, somebody today decides that, okay, this is not working. See, that is a medium. Medium will always work, but it's that, how are you planning it? I think that's only the difference.
Yeah, sure. Okay, was that Bell asking us to wrap up or something? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll, open the, questions from the audience. If you want to ask these, my friends any questions, please go ahead. Can someone give him the mic? We'll do this for a couple of minutes and we'll wrap up.
Hi, this is Kinjan Shah representing Digital Vigyapan. It's an ad agency. We are based in Mumbai. So I had a question regarding influencers bit. When we talk about macro influencers or micro influencers, so what would you recommend? Because there has been a conflict about either we go with big influencers, then they charge higher, or we go with multiple small influencers. So have you all experienced this thing? Which one brings a better impact? Or how do you please?
I think it depends on your category, your audience, your budget, your region. If you want to.
Yeah, but it's a very KPI-driven and budget-driven conversation. But in general, if you want to showcase your video message, macros do a better job. And if you want more interactions and sort of engagement, sharing, call to action to happen, then micros do a better job. So it's just a KPI-driven conversation. But ideally, in a holistic plan, you have both.
And just to add, I think you take celebs when there's a big announcement, because that will only give you reach but no engagement. But I think that's the announcement. So that is how your basis objective you pick which influencer will work for you.
And it also depends on the kind of objective which you have, right? Whenever you are doing influences, there must be some objective, right? For example, let's say for us, our objective is to create content, as much content as we create, correct? If I'm going to create it from a mainstream per se, maybe my costing is going to be very high. So whether it's a micro or a macro, whomsoever is creating, if my content is coming up to the mark as per the quality of brand, right? You're done. So it's totally up to the brand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We have time for one more question. Okay. All right. Okay. So is there something you really want to say which I didn't ask, or?
I
Go
think
ahead.
one more thing in addition to, all the metrics that
Yeah.
you were talking about, CPVs, all the metrics that you spoke about, CPV, reach, etc. Whenever we are evaluating, and in case it's celebrities, for personal care especially, a lot of celebrities we see, they generally have male following. So rightly said that those are also, certain things we need to keep in mind, that if they have, ultimately they have male following, and that's not the TG I am going to reach out to ultimately.
And I think also that
Yeah.
it depends, right? I mean, whether you can push a static or a video, depending on what influencer is it, because if you really get your micros to sort of, send out videos, it'll never work. Because again, it's going to count that 3-second video, but that's
That's
not
it.
a real.
And you have
kind
not
of
even
video.
covered your brand.
Okay, we'll end with a little anecdote, if I may, about targeting. We were discussing, data-driven targeting. So, a couple of years back, I was doing this campaign for, I don't know, some Ministry of Tourism or something. Okay. So, and there were many plans that we were presenting to, the Joint Secretary, Minister, etc. So much on digital, so much on TV, so much on this and all that. And then a minister who I will not name gave us a brilliant idea. Okay. He said, ये जो minister है, the cabinet minister, okay, just put a hoarding in front of his house. So when he leaves the house to go to his ministry, he sees the hoarding, okay. And then in his car, there used to be a newspaper, Indian Express, which is circulation is very low, right? They said, "No, ek front page ad low because he will see it." Okay. And then when he reaches the ministry, they put another hoarding on the gate. Okay, that's it. Your campaign is done. And he's right. The minister was very happy. Aapka to ad ekdam chha diya. Wherever I go, I see your ad.
That's the visibility they were targeting for.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you so much.
panelists, and thank you very much, audience.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everybody. That was quite a session. And with that, would like to request you all to please come forward for a group picture. With that, we have a token of appreciation that we would like to present to all of you. Can we proceed? Thank you so much. Come on, everybody. Come on, let's clap together for all the wonderful people standing here on the stage.